Do I really want to do this? Should I be doing this? Is this safe? Like, am I being ridiculous? I'm just having a little walk in the woods and getting energetically prepared for my upcoming trip. I'm wearing this, by the way, because I am hiking on land where people hunt. So this is what you have to wear so you don't get hunted. I'm just like having this experience of having to confront and deal with a whole lot of fears. You know, I'm going to a country where people primarily speak Spanish, so I've been relearning Spanish, and I've also been figuring out how to do things like rent cars and how to drive there and reading people's scary stories about the driving conditions. But I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna try it. We're gonna see. I freaked myself out the other night. I was reading about people's stories, especially I was looking for stories about females solo traveling in the Dominican Republic and the areas that I'm planning to be in. A lot of it was fine. But you know, we all have our stories, and traveling anywhere by yourself is a risk. And so I was like reading some scary stories and kind of freaking myself out to the point where I was like, oh my gosh, do I really want to do this? Should I be doing this? Is this safe? Like, am I being ridiculous? You know, my intuition called me to take another leap of faith and book this trip a couple months ago. And so I did. But yeah, those doubts really can creep in. And so I was like having this moment of, ooh, you know, am I like spiritually bypassing? Am I making poor choices and like calling it spirituality? But I don't know. I'm like here centering with nature and not making decisions from a place of feeling actively in fear. And as I'm walking, I'm envisioning myself being on this trip. I'm feeling this feeling internally. I'm feeling into all the possibilities that could come of it, even though so much of it is uncertain. I know where I'm staying for like 7-8 days of my 2-week trip, and I've left the rest open. I don't have really like solid plans or anything like that. I have some people that I do plan to connect with, but I don't know what that's going to look like at this point. I'm really called to just go and trust and flow and be with it on an experiential level from day to day, wherever it may take me. And so there's a lot of fear in that level of trust. And some of it's real and valid because it is a risk to travel anywhere by oneself. And it is a risk to be in this body and look like this and just be in places alone. And that's true of a lot of countries. That's true of places here in the United States. That's true of a lot of spaces. But I've been learning how not to decide out of fear. And I've been learning how instead to tune back into that place inside of me, the place of possibility, the place of potentiality, and even channel some of my like caution from there. Even channel, you know, I'm going to have to put on a certain kind of energy when I'm walking the streets there. When you stand out, you attract all kinds of attention. So even using my intuition to guide access to the kind of like energy and direction and purpose and focus I'm going to need to make sure that I'm keeping myself safe while I'm there, but having it come from this like intuitive, powerful energy center place instead of coming from fear. And that's what I'm feeling. That's what I'm feeling into right now. I'm like getting myself rehyped and re-excited back up for this experience and this adventure, because I can feel the fear and I can also feel the possibility and the power and all the things that could come if I continue to follow my intuition and listen to my internal wisdom centers. So I'm going to take you guys along with me, and we're going to see what this holds for 2 weeks in the Dominican Republic. Wow, what a day it has been already. I left my house at 3:30 a.m. It is now 7 p.m. I just got to my hotel. There was a like 2-hour line after we got off of the plane. That was intense, and you know, my goal was to not drive at night while I was here, and of course, because it took 2 hours to get out of the airport after the plane landed, I also I had to go to a grocery store to get some stuff, so I ended up driving back here in the dark, and oh my god, oh my gosh, and I got lost on the way here. The directions took me down this like dead-end street onto the beach, and it was total darkness, and there was like this group of young men who were there. I didn't feel any kind of unsafety vibes from them, but it just was that moment that I had feared was like happening in real time. And so I had to like turn around and go back up this like steep, crappy road. And I drove around in circles a couple times. And I ended up just like asking, there was some kid on the street staring at me because they were all staring at me because I was obviously lost. And so I just like ended up asking, and he helped me get here. So I'm very grateful for the young man in the street who helped me. It was fine. I don't think my safety was actually in jeopardy, but it was like all of the scary things I had just read about and other things that people have been telling me about driving here. It just was like, here it's happening on my very first night here, and I'm going on like 4 hours of sleep. So it's been an adventure already, but I also met a beautiful couple already. We were standing in line together at the airport. I sat next to them on the plane and was able to just connect and talk about traveling. And I tried to record it, I don't know if I captured it, but I also saw a rainbow. We flew through a rainbow when we were starting to come down and land on the island, so I just feel like these are good signs. This is not the trip I thought it would be, but I think it's going to be the trip it needs to be. So this is my little room. I got a tiny little apartment room. Very cute. The outside is very cute. I'm staying in for the night because it's dark outside, and I've been cautioned against that. So I've got my food. I'm gonna take a shower because boy do I need one, and I am going to rest for tonight.